Yo, what is going on, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, the beautiful game of life, part of the Believe Network. I'm Ramsey Abushala, editor of UrbanPitch.com. Julio Monterosa, co-executive director of Vibes. What's going on, Julio?
A little hungover.
What were you doing last night?
I've been seeing everything on social media. Justin Bieber playing soccer, so I decided to go play. I decided to go watch, not play.
Oh, okay.
And then I took a shot with the Biebers. So
You took a shot with the Biebs.
With the Biebs, so I had to do it. Now I'm regretting life. I don't want to hear UConn. I don't want to hear Peaches. I don't want to hear nothing Bieber related.
Baby? How about Baby? Come on, Baby's classic.
Heck no, anything Bieber related I do not want to even be a part of.
Damn, man. So Justin Bieber, noted soccer player. I've seen clips of him playing. I know you mentioned in the past that you've played with him before.
Yeah. So, there was a league in Playa Vista, I'm going to say 2018, 2019. It might have been a little bit prior to that. But, yeah, he would come on and play. Like out of nowhere, he just popped up and started playing with a team in that league. So, he's done it before. He's not a bad player. Yeah. But he's Canadian, so what can you expect?
He can hoop a little bit.
Yeah, so he does that. Like, he plays. Now he has a team at the league. And I guess yesterday was the first time he played.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it's great because, a lot of people are usually that Tuesday night is soccer night, and nobody really goes. But now that Bieber's involved, it was like a whole party yesterday. And that's why I got a little overly happy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to vibe out when the Biebs is there.
The Biebs is there.
Yeah, so we got a good episode today. We have Favian Renkel coming on, Urban Pitch contributor, MLS expert extraordinary. He covers all things MLS and U.S. soccer. We got a good chat with him talking about his MLS end of the year superlatives and his picks for MLS Cup, so hope you stick around for that. But first, Leo, really quick, I think we should talk about some of the stuff that's been going on here in L.A. Big news today, announced this morning, Christen Press, LA native, just like a icon in the sport, announced her retirement this morning on social media.
Yeah, and I'm so happy we were able to go see the Angel City Performance Center, FC Performance Center, and seeing her there. She has some aura.
For sure.
I told you, I can't believe we were right in front of her. So just seeing her interview, she had things for Good Mornings. She had an interview with somebody,
okay.
And then she talked about her and her partner playing a part just because she retired earlier this year.
Tobin Heath.
Yeah, retired earlier this year. She said it. She's like, I wanted my body to tell me I can't play anymore, but that's not gonna come.
Right.
Lose the love of the game, and that's not gonna come. So now I'm just gonna go into the space, but just it's gonna look a little differently.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's a legend. 2014 World Cup. What were
15.
15
and 19.
15 World Cup. I remember it, watching it in downtown Culver. So just her. She's an amazing player.
Yeah, I think she has her and Tobin Heath, it's a coincidence that they're partners, but the sauce that they have,
super sauce.
It's almost like a Brazilian, they're the footwork and the creativity and all of that. It's so much fun to watch. And specifically her run at Angel City before she hurt her knee in 2022, the inaugural season, that first half of it was maybe 5 or 6 games. She carried the team pretty much. And they were in third, fourth place before, and once she got injured, things kind of took a downfall. But just her watching her with the national team, obviously that forward trio, her, Tobin, and Alex Morgan, did some incredible things together. That 2019 team really is one of the greatest teams ever assembled, I think.
The Avengers.
Yeah, pretty much. You look at that midfield with the forwards. Yeah, Carly Lloyd coming off the bench. It's crazy. So just shouts to Christen and everything that she's done for the game.
Yeah, and just notes about Christen, but I remember Eric Winaldo one time said, if I would pick any woman to play with the guys, it would be Tobin.
Well, Tobin Heath.
So
she is, I think, even more so on that level of sauce than Christen. Christen was more kind of a precise. She'd take long shots, but Tobin would meg you just to embarrass you. And do stuff
and wait for you after she already took you on.
Exactly. Yeah.
But shout out, great career. a lot of these younger ladies and boys they look up to you just because of the body of work you put.
Yeah. So shouts to Christen. But staying in LA, we talked a little bit about with Favian, but LAFC, man, the form that they've been in the last couple of weeks, like, how excited are you to watch them play in the playoffs?
Really, really excited because I feel like they are catching the stride. I hate that they had this international break because it
kind of broke up some momentum.
Like they were running like a fine-tuned machine. Boanga and Son, they know where each other's at all times. So like you can tell sometimes Son will just like cut right and there you go past the.
He's right there.
He's right there. So I hate that that's happening. MLS will be MLS though, but I like where they are right now. But Vancouver, those people up in Canada are balling. I think Mueller has like 9 games, 8 goals.
Like quiet, like no, quiet. Like it feels like nobody's talking about it.
Nobody's talking about it, but like if they are a scary team.
Yeah, very much. They were already scary before they added him, and Brian White. Really emerging, not emerging, but like breaking out as having a really good season. Tristan Blackman earning a U.S. men's national team call up, playing his way into that. A lot of good things happening up in.
I told LAFC don't let go of Tristan.
Tristan, former Urban Pitch podcast.
Yes,
I guess.
I remember. He pissed me off that 2019 playoffs.
You said some things about him that you don't care to repeat.
I'm happy he has improved because we should have won that. We should have won that MLS Cup. I was sitting 3 rows behind when I saw Morrison took him, beat him.
Morris
Beat him down that line.
Yeah, so Morris, good player though.
Good player.
Yeah, very good player. Steve Cherundolo, obviously on his way out, announced earlier in the season. I think there's a lot of talks. I mean, they started the season pretty poorly. And so for them to be where they're at now compared to where they're at the start of the season, I think is a testament to the signings they made and just, the resilience that they have as a team. But you always see you see a lot of times, at least, when you have this kind of like lame duck coach who's on his last. It's known that he's not going to come back. Sometimes it's just like, whatever. Like I have no. I'm not playing for anything. You know what I mean? I'm gone no matter what. So like, what difference does it make? What do you make out of what he's done as a coach, or do you think it's more of a players thing?
No, but I think it's a little different though, because he's not leaving because he's wanting to get out. Like they're kicking him out through the back door. He's leaving because he wants to go back to Germany with his family, and it's more family based.
Okay.
So it ain't like it's not performance issues. He's just ready to move on to.
But a lot of LAFC fans are very vocal about Dolo out.
Yeah, because they don't know how to lose finals. But he's the one that's taking you to these finals where he can complain about the finals being lost as him. But it's kind of tricky though, because Son played against Cherundolo on his way out.
That's right.
Did him dirty.
Yeah, he did. He cooked him a little.
And then he on the interview he blamed it on his teammate. No, he did you dirty, Cherundolo. Like I saw the tape. I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, but no, he murdered you.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you get cooked, sometimes you do the cooking. Like that's how it is.
Playing career, he's kicking you out. Now you coaching, he's kicking you out.
That's crazy.
But like it's a different dynamic. I feel like Cherundolo wants to leave in his high horse. He doesn't want to go out as just like the coach from like the Water Boys. Like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
Like, go play, guys.
He doesn't have his green book.
Yeah, he doesn't have his green book, but he wants to go on a fight. With a fight, and this last 6 games LAFC has put has been a clinic. We can ignore the last game that they just lost, but it was 6 games in a row won.
Yeah.
And it was like hat trick. It
was crazy. Yeah, it was
16, 17 goals between Boanga and Son. I don't know. It's crazy.
Who would you like to see in replacement of Dolo? Because I think there's been some rumors about certain names, but what's a name that you'd like to see?
Hugo Perez.
Oh wow.
Hugo Perez. He's a soccer genius. Know the space. Your favorite U.S. national team players, shout him out because he coached them when they were in the youth rankings. I think he's a great soccer mind, U.S. legend, El Salvador legend. But, yeah, Hugo Perez. I think Hugo Perez will be a great coach for LAFC just because he knows the space. He knows the community. And I think he'll be great. I heard Tata, but I like how Sharundalo came in with no real like experience, just respect.
Yeah.
And like he put this team to ball.
Yeah, Tata, I don't think he spent more than 3 seasons at a single team.
Even with Atlanta, when he went with Atlanta, he was out like in and out. So.
Yeah, Barcelona was 1 season, Mexico maybe 2 years. Like he's more of kind of like I show up, do my thing, maybe win a trophy or 2, but then leave in disarray. Kind of like a Jose Mourinho type thing, where Jose comes in, kind of turns things around for a little bit, but then gets messy and then leaves. Maybe not at that scale of Jose, but Tata, I don't know. Like he's never been a long-term coach.
Yeah, I don't think he will work well with Son. I think that it would be a little different.
You think Hugo Perez would has the coaching resume to be LAFC's head coach?
Yes.
Has he coached since the El Salvador?
No, he has not.
He hasn't been?
He has not, but I think he's a player's coach, man. Just hear his interviews out. He's so smart. Like he just knows the game. He knows the landscape of U.S. soccer. He knows what we need to fix it out here. So I think he'll be a great coach for LAFC. You know, and I like throwing out of left field, Thierry Henry for the United States.
Henry,
Before it was a thing, I was the one. Yeah, I feel like we should. I know we got the Denzel lip. That's what I call it. But if we check it out, I said Thierry before anybody before these pundits. So give him my credit.
All right, Julio. Anything else before we get into this conversation with Favian?
I do have something else. Damn, I'm losing it though.
That Bandero's getting to your head.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, I don't.
Nothing. All right. Well, we'll save it for next time.
Yeah.
But stick around. We have a really good conversation with Favian Renkel. So let's get into that. All right, we're here with MLS expert, Urban Pitch contributor, your favorite soccer writer's favorite soccer writer, Favian Renkel. What's going on, Favian? How you doing?
Hey, man, that's a really nice intro for me. Your favorite soccer writer's favorite soccer writer? I doubt that, but I appreciate No, I really appreciate all the love, and I'm having such a blast contributing to Urban Pitch here and there, and it's been a great time, and the World Cup is coming. I mean, it's a new era in this kind of soccer world. We were just talking before the podcast about Justin Bieber playing pickup in soccer or in LA, and it's exciting this time to be a soccer fan, that's for sure.
Yeah, we were just talking about on the last episode, just, right now it's like the buildup is very palpable. Obviously the tickets, which you've been all over, you've been covering on top of that. You got fan accounts popping up and all that. So better than anyone. But I mean, it is right now in the U.S. Like you definitely feel like you felt it for the last like 4 years, right? Where the people who are like in soccer, it's like, 2026 is around the corner. It's around the corner. But now like you actually feel it on like a mainstream level and not just like the people in the soccer spaces.
And I almost feel like a little bit of panic for the people in the soccer spaces because everyone's starting to see like this mainstream kind of get into it. And myself included, I'm seeing all these journalists, all these reporters, all your favorite writers switch kind of areas and switch places because the mainstream money is finally coming in. And I mean, if all of us in this space, we've all been waiting for this, and it's just funny to see firsthand.
Yeah, I think
we want some money on this side too, man.
Yeah, I know. It would be nice. I saw Nick Wright was talking about soccer on, I don't know if it was
Fox?
Whatever Fox sport show that he's on. Like, and it's just like, well, man, like I never seen this guy like talking about soccer before. Like,
but Nick will bring it back to basketball like all the time. Like he's trying to speak about soccer, but like it's like that point guard passing the ball. I'm like, no, dude, just keep it. It's so cringe when you do that. Just keep it at one sport.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the only guy that was really mainstream, rest in peace, but it was Grant Wall.
Yeah,
I mean, that was like the only guy who I grew up watching that they would bring on to talk about soccer. So we'll see. Tom Bogert's doing a great job going on to a lot of shows, but let's see who becomes that next guy that goes on mainstream media, because I don't know if we're ready to see Stephen A. Smith talk about soccer, because he probably knows just as much about Pokemon as soccer. That's
yeah.
Who I like to see is probably like a name coming out of left field is play-by-play announcer for the radio for the Lakers, Mike Trudell. He was a D1 soccer player back.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was D1.
Wow.
He played for Washington. So like,
wait, he's the sideline. He's
sideline reporter. Yeah,
reporter.
so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you hear him on 710 on
ESPN.
on AM radio, ESPN, and you see him like, all right, like this guy knows his stuff. So
I never knew that. I never knew Trudell played. I mean, obviously, watching the Lakers, like you always see him on the sidelines and doing his thing. But that's crazy.
I found out like no wonder he doesn't sound like he's forcing it. Like he actually knows the game, but it's because he was a D1 athlete.
Yeah. But listen, we're here to talk to you, Favian, specifically about the end of the MLS season. Right now, exciting time outside of the league with the World Cup coming. But if you look at inside the league, the decision day, by the time this episode airs, decision day will have come and passed. And, the rush to MLS Cup Playoffs is here. So before we get into like the superlatives and your picks for the MLS MVP, but what are your thoughts on the MLS season as a whole, and just from your perspective, what did you see that surprised you, and like just how did you perceive the season so far?
Look, I've been covering the league for about 4 years religiously, right? As a journalist and as a person writing about this league. What's wrong with 30 games? I mean, we're doing 34 for what, right? Like, we dragged this season on for way too long, in my opinion. And with all these international breaks coming in now, it almost feels like, why do we even have these 4 extra games? We don't even play every single team, so why does it matter, right? So, I don't know. My whole thing, it's kind of dragging a bit. We're going to get into the playoffs, and you're going to notice that in the playoffs, there's going to be an international break. That shouldn't happen, right? So personally, it's been a crazy season. It's been a long season. It kind of, took a little bit of the anticipation away from the playoffs that this last 6 to 7 games have been dragging. I mean, LAFC has been playing Monday and Wednesday because of the tournaments going on, Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday because of the tournaments that happened in the middle of the season, and they're at a disadvantage for it. So I don't know. I just think as a whole, I've realized in my 4th season covering all of this, maybe 34 is a little bit too many games. I think 30 would be a nice sweet spot. It doesn't really need to be that many because now you have home and away coming in the playoffs. Right. So it's truly I'm on the player's side right now. I think it's too many games. But no, I was excited for the season. San Diego's been a great story. LAFC's resurgence has been a great story. Miami, I thought would be a lot stronger. Philadelphia being the Supporter Shield winner is crazy. Something that I did not expect. No one expected. And power to you if you picked that at the beginning of the season. But it's been exciting. It's dragging, but I'm glad to finally be at the MLS Cup Playoffs.
With all that being said, though, it sucks that there's so many games, but like the drama coming in, Boanga has to hit that hat trick for him to win Golden Boot of the season. Messi out of nowhere gets 2 goals last game to like make it good. So yeah, it is way too long, and of course having an international break during playoff, it sucks, especially for a team like LAFC that's a Boanga and a Son, the 2 most important people on the team, going back to their national teams and fighting for something really important. So it's crazy.
Yeah, honestly, I was extremely excited to see the last game with Messi and Boanga fighting for that Golden Boot and possibly MVP. And Messi was like, yeah, you know what? I don't really want to pay for Argentina, right? That's not fair, right? Like, Boanga had to play for Gabon because they had to qualify, or they're trying to qualify for the World Cup, and then now he's at a disadvantage because Messi had an extra game. Possibly Messi was going to win the MVP no matter what, but I mean, Boanga had a case if he won the Golden Boot, right? So it's interesting. This is another conversation for another day, but we shouldn't even play during international breaks, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I mean, you don't see the pundits coming after Messi for ditching international camp like they did for Pulisic. Like where's the outrage now?
No, 100%. But see, this is where I put on my tinfoil hat. It's like, yeah, it's a friendly. It's before the World Cup. But does Messi really need to play that international break game? Like, does he? And then they also moved the whole game to Miami. Yeah. And I think that had to have some influence, right? I understand that there's a lot of Puerto Ricans and Argentina fans in Miami, and that game should have been there from the start. But personally, Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is Messi to me. This is Messi wanting to fill up his trophy cabinet. That's what it
Mm.
looked like to me. And why not? If you're Messi, who a back-to-back MVP has only been done a couple of times, why not secure it when you have the luxury too?
Yeah, and Miami. I mean, we did a piece on the site earlier this week. You contributed some quotes to it. Kevin Loyola wrote the story on Inter Miami's kind of quest for a trophy this year. Obviously, the last 2 years they went home with some silverware in their cabinet. This year they struck out in the Champions Cup, struck out on the Leagues Cup, struck out in the Supporters Shield. So all that's left is MLS Cup. And maybe that's something in the back of Messi's head where it's like, you know what, I got to go home with something this year.
Yeah.
I'm not MLS Cup. Who knows? Last year they went out in the first round. This isn't a team necessarily built for a long, grueling playoff run like MLS Cup playoffs. So maybe that's also, I think that's a pretty good point that you bring up. And maybe he's hunting for whether it's the Golden Boot, MVP, or both.
It is crazy because you hear the pundits, MLS pundits now, going like switching up the whole thing and saying, "Oh, he stayed because he wanted it." It shows how committed he is. I'm like, guys, if this was any other player, this would not be the case. The argument you guys would be putting on, but everybody lets Messi get away with everything. So I guess.
Yeah, look, it's gonna happen. He's gonna win MVP again. Like at least last year's conversation was a little bit better. I thought Evander had a better case last year. I even thought Ricky Puig got snubbed last year personally. But hey, like it's gonna go down. The clicks are gonna happen. You're gonna get that picture with Messi and the two MVP trophies, and that's at the end of the day. If you would have told MLS that was gonna happen, they would have signed up for it too, right? I mean, that's gonna get you the most amount of clicks, and I think the players understand that. I know Bouanga is a player that, in my opinion, could play in other leagues. I know there was a lot of Sun fans saying, well, if he played in MLS, then he's not up to quality. Like he should be passing the ball to Sun no matter what. And I know Bouanga feels like he could have, won that MVP trophy at some point this season. But if you would have said he's going to lose to the best player of all time, then I think all players would understand, even with their competitiveness. But yeah, Messi not having a single trophy going into the MLS Cup playoffs is something that I think everybody would say that Inter Miami failed completely this year. And if they had another coach lined up, I don't think Mascherano would still be here, personally. Tata Martino being fired, I thought that was a horrible mistake by Inter Miami, and it turned out to be because they didn't leave with any single piece of silverware this season so far. I mean, they had opportunities, right? This was the year to do CONCACAF. They didn't do it. This League's Cup, they just didn't want it.
Yeah.
And I think, and I almost want to say that all these retirement announcements possibly, I mean, maybe these players thought about it, but that Leagues Cup final, that ugliness after the game may have forced a couple of these guys to really evaluate, hey, I've won everything. Do I really need to keep playing? Jordi Alba in a press conference that Franco Panizo posted saying, hey, I could play for 2 or 3 more years. I just felt like it was the right time, which is wild because Jordi Alba was one of the best players to play this position in all of soccer, and he could easily play in MLS a couple more years. So it's been a massive failure for Inter Miami this year. They've been embarrassed completely, losing 3-0 to Seattle, which is probably a shock to all the people that were in the stadium and on the field because Messi's never really played against a pro, non-Messi audience. And in Seattle, you get your first non-Mexican or non-Latino kind of audience that is not pro-Messi. So that was something that I think was a huge shock to that Miami team, and they weren't expecting that. And that kind of derailed their season as well. I mean, they came back from the season to the MLS regular season not playing up to par, and then they picked it up recently.
Yeah.
Once they thought they could still get the Supporters Shield, but they just, they ran out of gas. That team is older. You're kind of seeing with this next kind of Inter Miami Messi 2.0 that's going to come next year that they have to switch things up because, in my opinion, they haven't lived up to their potential as the Messi and friends kind of that everybody thought they were going to run away with a whole bunch of trophies.
Yeah, that's an interesting point you bring up about Seattle because if you go to the CONCACAF Champions Cup as well, I think what was the aggregate score against Vancouver? Was it 5-1, something like that? It was. I mean, it wasn't competitive, and so that northwest kind of Cascadia corridor has given Miami some issues this season. And you did mention that they ramped up their performances towards the end of the season. I think Messi kind of hit a really hot streak to close out the year. Couple of really good games in his last few appearances, and I mean to finish third place in the East is that where they're at right now? I think they're like kind of like in the 5th through 7th range for most of the season. So I think third place, for them might not be like a win, but for a team to where they were at, kind of in that middle of the season versus now, I think, they were definitely playing on the up.
Yeah, look, I don't think Inter Miami has any issue traveling to the East Coast and beating any team at their stadium. Now, that gets funky when we're talking about Vancouver, like you brought up.
Yeah.
For them having to do an MLS Cup final in Vancouver, I think would be probably the most daunting away match that could be possible. And even LAFC, I think playing LA in LA would be very tough. And I think that's why they're trying extremely hard right now, even though that the Supporters Shield was a long shot. I think they want to get the most points possible so that no Western Conference can host that final. Because Inter Miami on the West Coast is a completely different team. They almost can't handle that type of travel, or the moment gets too big for them when they don't see a pro Messi kind of audience, which they didn't have in Seattle and in Vancouver, right? That Pacific Northwest might be Messi's kryptonite. And I think all the Ronaldo fans should point that out, because that is his kryptonite. He hasn't been able to really perform there.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into your MLS Superlatives picks. So you said Messi is your MVP. Is that your pick? Final?
Yeah, look, if Bouanga didn't have to go to play for Gabon and had the same amount of games as Messi while coming to the end of the season, I would have thought, he would have had a chance if he won that Golden Boot. He could still win the Golden Boot, but I guarantee you that Messi's going to score 2 goals in this last game. And it's going to be hard for Bouanga. I mean, Son's going to be feeding him. They're all going to be feeding him to try to get, 4 or 5 goals, and who knows? Maybe history happens. And that's why I haven't personally put in my vote yet. Who knows? Maybe Bouanga goes off for 7, which is wild, but it could happen, right? I think Messi does win the MVP. We also have to remember that players vote for this award too. Right. It's a lot easier for a player to vote for a great like Messi than it is to vote for one of their rivals who they say is possibly on their level with Bouanga. Dreyer's had a great season, but a lot of this has to do with what have you done for me recently? And I think Dreyer started the season off very, very well. And I think it's fluttered a bit away at the end with the resurgence of Vancouver and LAFC. San Diego's kind of played third fiddle, and that's what they have to learn as an expansion side. If you don't bring in some big guns like Thomas Muller or Son in the halfway point of the season, people are gonna not take you too seriously anymore. And that's why I have them as like the third or fourth best team in the West now. So unfortunately, Sam Surridge and Hani Mukhtar were playing at MVP kind of levels as well, but they're cursed with the same thing the Golden State Warriors were. If you have 2 MVPs, you have none, right? With Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. So it's just tough for them to have any of those guys. And with Philadelphia, they just had an all-around good team. I mean, they stuck it through. They weren't in many competitions this year, and that at the end of the day helps out a lot in the West, right? Usually that's the case when people don't have too many competitions they're playing in. The Supporters Shield goes to them. But the MLS Cup playoffs loves underdogs, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs, because who knows? It could be a very low seeded team like Columbus making a run for it again this year. But yeah, for MVP, I think it's going to have to go to Messi. Golden Boot could go to Bouanga if he scores a historic day. But I just think with the media vote, the player vote, it's tough to beat Messi, and you have to beat him by a lot of goal contributions. But Messi's only 5 away from tying Carlos Vela's season, which is actually wild, right? Like, Carlos Vela played on a level that I've never seen a single player ever play in a league. Or I mean, okay, yeah, Messi, Barca, right? But in MLS, that was the first time we ever saw something like that, and that was just pure dominance. And to think that Messi, going through this quiet season of not winning a single trophy, has a chance to tie it, it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I went to most of those home games for that season Carlos Vela had, and it was just amazing. Just seeing him cut left, and we're like, all right, let's start jumping up and down and celebrating, because that's for sure a goal.
Yeah.
And it always, and then he never stopped scoring, and it seemed like he was scoring 2 goals per game. Like, that's how it felt, because he was just going to that magical level, and he made it look simple. It didn't like it.
Right.
He made it look hard.
Yeah. Okay, so
maybe we've had enough time to where Vela's season could be more iconic than this one that Messi's putting together. Like, I haven't seen a single highlight where it's like Messi, like how we had Vela. You know, like
the
there hasn't
earthquake
been
goal.
The earthquake goes and going. Yeah.
There hasn't been too many moments this season where I felt like, wow, Messi's having a killer season. But I guess it's just we're accustomed to Messi's greatness already.
Maybe, Messi. What do they call that? Like when you get tired of something. To like like with LeBron and his MVPs. Like I forget the term for it. But okay, so Messi MVP. What is your biggest surprise team? From I know you mentioned San Diego, but in Philadelphia, obviously, 2 big surprises. But what is your biggest surprise for the MLS this season?
Yeah, look, Atlanta United was supposed to be something this year. They spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in MLS say, sometimes myself included, if you spend money, you're going to be in the upper echelon of teams. And man, oh man, did they get every single thing wrong. And Miguel Almiron came back, and it didn't look like Miggy. It looked like a completely different player. I mean, Josef, after 3 ACL tears, looks like he's a better player, right? He had a better season than I would say Miggy. But yeah, Atlanta United has been the biggest surprise for me by far. I want to say Philadelphia is up there. I didn't even have them making the playoffs when I first talked about where I thought teams were going to be, and they won the Supporters Shield, right? They proved everybody wrong. They proved that it wasn't just a Jim Curtin side that was chugging along, that this franchise knows how to win, and this franchise knows how to get things done. And San Diego, I got to talk about too. Yeah. I thought everybody was going to find them out at the half point of the season, and they chugged along. I mean, they were playing with some MLS Next Pro defenders at one point, right? Like they, with no debt, still became the top 3 Western Conference teams. It's kind of crazy. And shout out to them and Mike Ivaras, because usually expansion sides, they don't have that type of determination or even luck to end up in the top kind of echelon of teams, especially when Chucky Lozano was out for a while.
Yeah. The MLS expansion sides have been like, it's been weird because you saw St. Louis City a couple seasons ago, Austin, their inaugural season. Like you'll see like 2 ends of the sword where it's like some teams will come in the league super hot, but then you have teams like Cincinnati or Charlotte who kind of struggle at the beginning and then kind of find their footing later on. But it's interesting to see like these expansion teams and how it's so like hit and miss.
Yeah, with St. Louis, it's a bit of an outlier because they technically were a team playing in MLS Next Pro the year before.
Right.
So they had a whole process of bringing in these European guys.
Yeah.
They were already acclimated, so it gave them a running start. So, but Austin's a great shout because they kind of hit the ground running. But in front of that fan base, in front of that crowd, in front of that city, I think it's kind of easy, especially when everybody wants Austin to do well, especially in that city. That city's awesome.
Yeah. But they've had a hard time replicating that success,
right.
That initial success. So, it's a tough push and pull. So, okay, cool. So, what is your pick for MLS Cup?
Yeah, the MLS Cup winner. Oh, this was tough because I'm gonna go the easy route. I don't see anybody stopping Sun and Buanga.
Ooh,
nobody.
Okay.
I was about to flip out. Hey, no, but honestly, like the Step Brothers. They are doing. They're like, it's crazy. You feel like they've played for a lot of seasons together just because they're doing they copy each other's celebrations. They have their own celebrations now where they like a little high five they have going. And Sun came in, and we know Sun is better than Boanga. But Sun came in not saying like, this is my team now. Look at me, I'm the captain of the ship. He didn't go that way. He was like, you know what? It's your team. Let me feed you. Let me make you better. And that's what Sun has done. Like. LAFC is not the team that they are right now if Son is not doing what he's doing right now, where is not being selfish, being for the team, and that's the biggest surprise for me.
Yeah, look, all LAFC fans kind of came into the season and said, all right, let's just fast forward because Steve Cherundolo is not going to be our coach next season, so let's just get this over with. But they made it to the Club World Cup. They brought possibly the best MLS transfer outside of Messi ever to MLS, right? Then all of a sudden they go on this crazy streak, and now they have possibly two out of the three best players in MLS right now. Of course they look like the best team to win it. And they can win away. And that's the craziest part of this team, which they weren't able to do that at the beginning of the season. But now with Son, getting every little piece or every little bit of greatness out of every single player that's left of that depleted roster, it's awesome to see. And to be honest, it's a great sight. And I think MLS is going to love this MLS Cup final of Inter Miami versus LAFC. And I'm over here hoping LAFC wins all the points possible so I don't have to fly to Miami for this game. but it's looking like it's going to be hosted by Miami. Yeah, so I just think LAFC looks like the team to beat right now. Vancouver is a great team, and that could be the one dark horse. And it's funny to say dark horse because they're leading the Western Conference. Right. But, man, if I see Son and Bouanga playing at the best of their abilities, I don't know what team could beat them. But it's so nice to see because you expected Son to come into the squad, Bouanga to be sold, and Steve Cherundolo to basically say, we're getting this team ready for next year. I'm out of here. Yeah. But if LAFC can raise a trophy in the season that nobody thought they were going to do it in, and nobody thought they would be here, man, it's probably going to feel just as sweet as Gareth Bale tying it at the last second. That's for sure.
But in the crazy part is that the pressure that Son takes away from Bouanga, it's just like gives him a chance to just run down the line and create his magic. But the depth that LAFC has, like one of these guys comes out, David Martinez can come in and just the what do they call him, the golden boy from Venezuela, but he can come in and have magic, and he's proven it. Like when Son came on, everybody said, David Martinez, he's not probably gonna have no minutes. He's gonna ride the bench, but every time he plays, he creates magic. He missed a penalty last game, cool, but the play to create that penalty, that kid has a lot of skill. So I think he'll be the X factor for the team, to be completely honest.
Yeah, Martinez has that sauce, like especially with the space that Bouanga and Son are creating for him. He's the perfect type of player to put in that situation. It's high risk, high reward, but you have the cover of the other two guys. So no, yeah, Martinez can easily be the X factor for LAFC going through, and he's going to be the odd man out. So he's going to have a chance for sure.
I got a question though. A lot of people came into MLS this year. Who is the newcomer of the season?
That's tough because it's not really fair to all those players that came at the beginning of the season because I want to say Son, but it has to be Dreyer, right? Because Dreyer played the whole season. Yeah. I think that's going to go to Dreyer, in my opinion. I think Dreyer doesn't win MVP, but he's had a good enough season to definitely be the MLS newcomer of the year. And I think it's going to be a little bittersweet for him because he probably wished that he finished the season a little stronger. But newcomer of the year is definitely still a great honor to have.
Yeah. Any chance we see our guy Bo LaRue getting that young player of the year?
Man, I mean, young player of the year is tough because if RSL make the playoffs, it's going to be tough to not give it to Diego Luna. And also there's I think his name is Aidin in Charlotte.
Yes.
And
Yes.
He's 18 years old, just banging in goals like he's Patrick Ajiman. Like this, Charlotte hasn't missed a beat. So all of a sudden, this 18-year-old halfway through the season becomes such a key factor for Charlotte. So unfortunately, the Quakes basically, dwindled a little bit at the end, and they still have an outside shot to make it the playoffs. But again, Diego Luna and the new kid on the block, it's tough to kind of give that to Bo. And Obed Vargas, too, a guy who really showed up in the Leagues Cup final and is going to have a heavy price tag, going out of MLS. It is the guy to kind of look out for the Young Player Award for sure.
All right. Anything else you got?
No.
All right, Favian. Always a pleasure talking to you, man. Love to have you come back to the studio next time you're in LA. But until then, appreciate you as always, and thanks for taking the time to speak with us.
Yeah, MLS Cup Playoffs. I'll be there, so definitely we can chat once more.
Hell yeah! All right. Yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks again, Favian, and we're out of here. All right, thank you as always to the great Favian Renkel for taking the time to speak with us. But it's time to wrap up. This has been another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, the beautiful game of life. For Julio Matarosa, I'm Ramsey Abushala. We'll see you next week.
We out.